This is the all-new 4th generation Nissan X-Trail, and of all the new models that Nissan is going to launch in 2022, I'd wager this is one of the most important. And that's because it plays in Australia's second largest segment, mid-size family SUVs. But there's already a bit of a question mark over the new X-Trail, and that's because overseas, where it's known as the Rogue, it's already been on sale for almost 2 years. So the question is it already off the pace? Or has Nissan produced a really convincing contender for polished rivals like the Toyota RAV4 and the Mazda CX-5? This is our first chance to get up close and personal with the new X-Trail on Aussie soil, so let's dive in and have a look. First things first, if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell notification so you are alerted every time we upload a new video like this one. Okay, first impressions of the new X-Trail. I've got to say, they are extremely positive. I think the old X-Trail is still a very handsome thing even today, but this new model does deliver a big step forward. It certainly feels more modern, especially on the inside, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, the new X-Trail does ride on a new platform which is shared with the Mitsubishi Outlander, and it is wider and taller than before.
The Aussie range will have 4 models, starting with the entry-level ST, but the variant we have here is the range-topping TIL. There's only one engine to choose from for now, and that's a revised version of the old X-Trail's 2.5 litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder paired to a CVT automatic. Power and torque have lifted slightly, but you can expect Nissan to add a hybrid or e-power version to the X-Trail range in the future.
LED headlights are standard across the range, but this flagship model does add sequential LED indicators as well, which look pretty cool. You also get bigger 19-inch wheels. The rest of the new X-Trail range rides on 18s. We're going to be interested to see how that affects the ride quality, so make sure you come back to our channel for our full review of this car in a few months. Other bells and whistles for the flagship include a panoramic sunroof. Around the back, upper spec versions do get a hands-free tailgate, but unfortunately, you don't get this feature on the lower spec versions in the new X-Trail range. Now, in terms of the boot space itself, just eyeballing it, it doesn't look quite as commodious as something like a Toyota RAV4. We will put the exact measurements on screen below right now. But you do score Nissan's clever boot divider system, which includes these little things which you can arrange in all sorts of different layouts so things don't slide around. You can lock things into place, and underneath the boot floor, you get a space saver spare tyre. All right, let's jump inside and have a look at the cabin, because that is really where this new X-Trail has lifted its game. Nissan is launching 3 new SUVs in Australia in 2022, with the new Qashqai and Pathfinder joining the new X-Trail in local showrooms, and all 3 deliver a huge leap forward when it comes to interior presentation, sense of quality and materials. I'll list the full details of all the equipment and features of this car in some voiceover in a minute, because frankly there are too many for my little pea brain to remember right this second. But in terms of initial impressions, the first thing you notice are the 2 twin 12.3-inch screens that you get on this flagship model. It does put it on the same sort of lines as rivals like the Kia Sportage and Hyundai Tucson, but the screens themselves are very nicely done. The resolution is of a high quality, and the layout of all the systems is very logical and easy to follow, which isn't always the case with systems like this. Connectivity, we've got a wireless charging pad ahead of the gear shifter here. We've got a USB-C and a USB-A port ahead of us, so that's nice and useful as well. And storage is pretty good. We've got large bins down here in the doors, which will easily swallow a 600ml water bottle like this one. Twin cup holders here, but I do have to say the center console feels a little on the skinny side, although that does disappear nice and easy. And because we've now gone to an electronic shifter, we have a big, useful storage compartment underneath the center console here, which I think would genuinely be useful for bags, wallets, all sorts of things like that. So let's throw to the voiceover to get all the features of this car, and then let's jump in the back seat.
How richly equipped your X-Trail feels depends on which variant you go for in the 4-tier model range. But every X-Trail scores an impressive active safety suite, with autonomous emergency braking with cyclist and pedestrian detection, rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control and traffic sign recognition. Roof racks, a reversing camera and rear parking sensors are also standard across the range.
Being a family SUV, how the new X-Trail stacks up for space, comfort and amenity in the back seat is really, really important, and I'm pleased to report that it is pretty good back here. Space-wise, headroom is probably the only sort of metric where I'm feeling a little bit hemmed in, and that's because this flagship does have a panoramic sunroof. But hey, look, I'm 6'2", I've got no real, my head isn't brushing the roof itself, so no real complaints. Anybody who has sat in a Mitsubishi Outlander is going to feel pretty familiar back here, because there is a lot of commonality in terms of how high the rear bench is, and also slides back and forward, and you can adjust the backrest angle, which is really nice. Amenity wise, it's very good. I've got twin rear air vents. We've also got heating for the second row in this flagship model, and window blinds. That's not just a nice to have if you have kids, that is a must have in my eyes. And yeah, the general sense of quality does continue from the front to the back. Got a slight drop in quality in the plastics on the door cards, but overall it is a very convincing cabin in the new X-Trail. What's really going to determine the success of this 4th generation model is pricing. We don't have that at the moment. It's going to be released in the coming months, so make sure you tune back to whichcar.com.au for the pricing of this car. But on initial blush, Nissan has a spacious, tech-forward, very nicely executed mid-size SUV that's going to take it to the front runners in this segment.